Hello YouTube, good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever time you're watching this from. So, what is this? This is an introduction to me and who I am. My name's Ryan Shing, I am 26 years old. No, I'm not. I'm 27 years old, Jesus Christ. I'm 28 very soon. It is Friday the 19th of June, 7 o'clock in the morning. I am on the way to work. Currently I'm working as an electrical commissioner technician on a energy to waste plant. So yeah, it's all site work, a bit in the office, but yeah, it's a handy little number, I'll tell you that. But yeah, the main focus of the channel is bodybuilding. So I'm a very subpar, classic amateur physique competitor. It's only my second season. My first season was last year. My coach is Kieran Driscoll, and yeah, I've been with Kieran probably now, it's got to be 5 years or 4.5 at least, with Kieran. Yeah, a bit of a mad one, to be honest with you. Oh my god. So yeah, Kieran went the same gym that I did in my local town, Newton Fitness. Big up Newton Fitness. That's sort of the gym that got me into bodybuilding. I did not know what bodybuilding was at the time, like whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, I knew Arnie was and all that stuff, but didn't have a clue about bodybuilding. I wouldn't say I was exposed to it that much until I started going Newton, and Newton opened, and I was seeing all the big dogs in there posing in the mirrors. Honestly, didn't really know where to look, to be honest with you. But then once I got a bit more comfortable and stuff, yeah, sort of loved it. I actually got some posing advice off big up Joey Farrell. Got some lessons off him before I even thought about doing competing, just because I kind of like the whole posing thing. Yeah. So yeah, Kieran, actually I spoke to Kieran a few times in the gym before he offered me coaching, but honestly, I'm going to be God honest there. Sorry, Kieran. I just thought it was a scam. Like, I was only, how old was I? Let's call it 4 years. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. I was probably 22 at the time, and honestly, I was just thinking this guy's just trying to take my money. And yeah, like I was like, I'm better off on my own. Obviously not. Anyway, I left it for quite a while. And then when I seen some of Kieran's transformations on his Instagram, I was like, nah, he can get me from A to B a lot quicker than obviously I've been trying to do for the past X amount of years. So yeah, that's where the journey started with Kieran, and yeah, not left him since. Loved every minute of it. I was lifestyle for, let's say, 3 years, just getting in shape for holiday, learning the whole routine, structure, adherence, seeing my physique grow, seeing it get lean, and then repeating that cycle. Do you know what? I absolutely loved it. I think when I first started, let me start again. I think when I first started out with Kieran, I was like 140 something pound, lowest weight. And as of this morning, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm in a competition prep right now. I'm 165.3, the lowest weight of this prep. But yeah, we've added some tissue where we needed to anyway. Don't get me wrong, for me, I mean, like I said, it was the first 3 years lifestyle. I loved it. And then when best friend and business partner Jake, I got him to sign up with Kieran. Well, I didn't get him to sign up with Kieran, he was doing the whole Eddie Abdu fucking carnivore diet, and don't get me wrong, he was in like some really good shape. And I just said to him, why don't you get on with Kieran? Like, he's brilliant. I've been with him at like 2-3 years at this point. And he was like, do you know what? Yeah, I will. Bearing in mind at this point, I had no aspiration of competing and all that stuff. I was still a lifestyle. And yeah, so next day, the next day, Jake was like, yeah, I've signed up with Kieran and I'm doing a show in it 9 weeks. I was like, Jesus Christ, your game. Like, he didn't have a clue about anything, but that's what I loved about it. Like, he didn't have a slight clue. No posing, nothing, like, didn't know what to expect. He just started digging. So I followed him on that journey. I didn't compete with him, but I watched him throughout that. We was working away in Ireland at this point. So we was living together, kind of on prep together, but his was a lot more extreme. And then, yeah, I watched him at his show, FitX Leeds, I believe it was. And honestly, seeing him up there got me emotional. I mean, I am an emotional person anyway. I cry at sad films, X, Y, Z. But yeah, like, honestly, it got me emotional seeing him up there. And I was like, if he could do that, like, I can. And he give me the, he give me the motivation and balls to then do it myself. So we said, all right, sound. The year later, we both prepped together for Gasmark, and yeah, that was an unforgettable experience. It was my first time on stage. I won the first timers, and then I came second in classic short to Dudley Dixon. That was just mega to be able to stand next to him, because I think a few weeks prior he turned PCA Pro, so just to stand next to him as a first timer was like wild. He must have had like over 35 pound or something on me. And then, I mean, the biggest mistake that I did that prep, I mean, it wasn't really a mistake, it was one of them, I still wouldn't change it now for the world. Basically, my sister has a lash business that is doing very well, and I'm very proud of her. So she had a business opportunity in Dubai, and she invited me to go over and film content for her. So I could not say no. The problem was, it was 2 days after Gasmark. I was like, fuck it, I'm still going. Bearing in mind, like, obviously Kieran was telling me, like, you know, don't be stupid, like, I feel like it's going to happen to everyone, it is, and you've got to learn. So yeah, the floodgates were open as soon as I got into that airport, especially them lounges. And then obviously arriving into Dubai, we stayed at Atlas de Palm and Fairmount, and if you've ever been any of them places, the buffets or whatever you call them, like, are unreal. Like, so it was, you know, one of them, you live and learn, but it was still mega. And then just the fact it was Dubai, you couldn't, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, you can order a steak wrap, you can order coconuts, fixed chocolate, you know what I mean, all that jazz. So yeah, came back from Dubai, shitload of water, I think it was like £10 to be honest, but then I was like, fuck, I need to get this off. And then the best way that I thought was possible was to book another show in like 3 weeks time, and that was the IBFA in the Midlands. We did an alright job of getting the water off, but I didn't realise how hard it was to get that water off. It was so stubborn. But yeah, I think we come second at that one. Yeah, we got second at that one. And then that was my first year of competitive bodybuilding over. We had a very, very short off season. I believe that was July. I went to Boomtown in August. I love Boomtown. If anyone's ever been Boomtown, big up. That was probably my 8th year. This year will be my 9th. So yeah, went Boomtown. And I actually got my gyno surgery done in Manchester around September. So I had to heal from that, rest and recover. And then I went Thailand for Christmas. And then yeah, I can't remember when prep started again. January, February, must have been around March. But then 4 weeks into prep, I went to Turkey to go and get my teeth done. New Look Smile, big up. And yeah, no, it was still good. It was a good experience for me to go on holiday in prep on my own. I took everything that I could with me. I think I was having one off meal like a day, but I was still getting my cardio done, etc., because it was the only facilities I had access to was hot water. I didn't have a microwave, didn't have a kettle, and all that stuff. They only let me use hot water. I don't know what it's called, but do you know what I mean? Like the instant hot water thing. That's the only thing that they let me use. So it was just cream of rice and whey and rice cakes. So yeah, that was fun. So the main targets for this year, or what they were, was to do PCA Manchester Northwest early on in the year, to then get my qualification for the PCA Universe, because that's a show that I really wanted to do. So we dug down for PCA Northwest, and you know what? Everything was going so well. It was going really well. I was loving every minute of it. But in between that time, I was living at my mum's, and I was waiting for my move-in date to the house. And it was probably around 2-3 weeks before PCA Manchester I got the keys to the house. So I moved in on my own. I mean, that wasn't that bad at all. I didn't think it was at the time. Sorry. So yeah, I moved in on my own. Obviously I was doing cardio, I was in prep mode. I was just loving it. It was mega. To be able to have my bike set up in my living room, just get up, bike, have that routine, have the kitchen to myself without like thinking I'm in anyone's way, was just mega. Like, it made bodybuilding and prep so much easier to have my own space. Because I was living at home with my sister, her kids that I love, but you know, they've got sweets, chocolate, KFC, whatever, every night. And do you know what? It built me. I kind of loved it in a way, because it gave me that mental resilience or strength that I could sit there, have my food, and not be bothered about their food, because my, like, whatever I was doing aligned with my goals. And do you know what I mean? Nothing's stopping you from just having their food if you wanted to. It's not that it's not that deep, but do you know what I mean? If you really wanted to do the prep, you really wanted to do the show, then it's irrelative to you. So yeah, that kind of built up that strength for me in a way. But then yeah, so here comes 1 week out from PCA Manchester. At the time as well, I forgot to mention, I was working 7 days a week at work. And that wasn't that bad either. It was just extra steps. I found that when I'm in work, my routine is better, my meal timing's bang on. Where, say if I took the weekend off, like, I kind of struggled that bit more. Didn't have that routine, and yeah, I weren't busy enough. So that's why I was just doing 7 days a week. There was 1 month, those were a few months I was doing 29 days. But yeah, still didn't feel fatigued, anything like that. And then on the Sunday, a week prior, I went into work, and bearing in mind I trained legs on the Friday, so a few days before, I woke up and it felt like I had like DOMs in my legs. I was like, oh, this is a bit mad. And I went to work, and then, yeah, my legs, just my quads, especially like higher up, started cramping up. It was very, very odd. And I was like, I can't even walk onto the site. I was like, it got to about 11:30. I was like, I'm gonna have to go home. And I'm not one of them people, like, I'll come in work if I'm sick, ill, whatever, you name it. Like, it's never, unless it's really, really bad, like, I'm not one of them people. So I had to drive home, and bearing in mind this was like one of the worst drives home ever. Basically, I've got a really shit old BMW because my truck decided to get robbed. So yeah, I had to basically smash it into the gears without using the clutch because my legs were that battered, and he kept cramping up. Obviously, I told my coach about it straight away, Kieran. What we actually did, we bumped food up, we dropped cardio, dropped everything. I actually had to take the full week off work because it was really bad. I was couch bound, bed bound. It was honestly horrible. If anyone has ever experienced that, please let me know, because the amount of coaches that I spoke to and people that I spoke to just thought it was so bizarre. Yeah, so carrying on from that and what I experienced, it was, let's say, obviously I was lying down most of the time, and as soon as I needed to make food, go to the toilet, I was dreading it. Like, I'd get up, I'd take about 3 paces, and yeah, my legs would just start cramping up. And if I didn't either stand there stuck in the mud or just jump straight back and lie down, it was like, the pain was unreal. Like, I was honestly crying to myself, thinking, do I need an ambulance here? And then after about a few minutes, it would just go. It was so mad. So then, yeah, obviously no training, nothing like that. I was just trying to rest up because we literally had a week to be all right for PCA. So yeah, PCA come round, and bearing in mind I felt the best I could have been. Let's leave it at that. I was not able to pose and stuff, like especially my legs, throughout the week, because I noticed as I was pulling my legs, it would also set it off. So obviously the same as walking and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm just driving here. So yeah, on top of that, basically, we got up on stage with a massive class, good set of lads. I think from what I remember, from what I do definitely remember, like, the first round of posing was actually not too bad, but because they come out again, and I didn't make first call outs, I think I got second call outs off the top of my head. That was when the cramping came, and oh my god, it was rough. I remember coming off stage, I was like, I can't do my routine, and Steve, the guy at the back, he was like, fuck, what's up with you? I was like, legs are cramping. And obviously it's not a good, to the average person, it's not a good look on show day, but I said, listen, it's been happening all week. He gave me some electrolytes anyway, or he said he's got some electrolytes for me there for afterwards. So he was like, just do your routine, you'll smash it. It's only a minute. And I was like, right, okay. So I'm glad that he gave me the boost that I needed to go and just smash my routine. But then, yeah, did my routine. I said the same again. I did not want to do the pose down because I was just cramping up. I was in tears again. But yeah, just did it, got up, did it. I actually did get what I went for. I got my qualification for the Universe and the British Finals, so I couldn't really complain there. Obviously, I was so disappointed in myself in so many ways, but it was just something that was out of our hands, realistically. So yeah, we couldn't really do much about it because it was something that was out of our hands. Sorry. But yeah, like if you've ever been in them situations, like estrogens through the roof, whatever, like I was crying my eyes out, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I was locked up actually backstage, I remember, because my legs were cramping. I couldn't move. I just needed a minute anyway to sit down to myself. And yeah, so after that, the plan was to just recover, because Universe was 3 weeks later, and I was still trying to go for it, but as the weeks went on, food stayed high, cardio stayed off, like no cardio. I couldn't do any cardio. I was still going in work, but luckily they were all right at work, and they let me just be office bound for a bit. But every so often I'd have a little walk out and it was still there. So we had to call off for the Universe because I wasn't going through that again, to not being able to bring like a good look. Yeah, I'll be honest, in that time frame, that was like a really low part of bodybuilding for me. I've never felt like that before. I was on my own, obviously in my own house, couch bound, just kind of useless. And I'm going to be completely honest here, I ordered around £50 worth of cookies, cakes, whatever, from Cookie Box. It looked unreal, and I just forgot about them, because I was like, do you know what I mean, what am I doing this dieting for? I'm doing all this to feel like this, do you know what I mean? Bearing in mind, I just fully forgot that I even ordered them. The week later, my legs actually got better, so we started seeing improvements in my legs and my whole body. The inflammation started to drop off, etc, etc. But then next minute, the delivery comes at the door. I'm like, oh shit. Open it up, it's all the cookies, cakes, etc. What do? Straight into the bottom freezer. I've not even opened it since, because I've just been so focused again on trying to bring my best look. And I'll be honest with you, what have we done now? I can't even think. We have done NABA, and we have done UK Ultimate Physiques. So we've done 2 shows up to now. I feel at NABA I did bring a good look. They were just judging it on a bodybuilding class. I mean, I'm going to say that, yeah, because that's what I believe. I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen, but I do think I deserved a lot of a higher placing than what I did get. I think I got 6th or 7th out of a stat class. Don't get me wrong, like, the top few people were very, very good. I just don't think I got a looking that I deserved, especially to do with the classic criteria. I mean, the worst thing that I hated is that they were calling out numbers that wasn't even in the lineup, and it's classic. They were shouting for most muscular and not a classic pose, and I was doing classic posing because I was like, whatever. That did my head in. But it was brilliant to stand next to one of my mates on stage. Ryan Owen, big up. He's had such a good season. So yeah, it was brilliant to get him most muscular in a few shots with him, because he's got a good 30 pound on me. I'm only small. So yeah, if I can get a clip of that, I'll put that up here. And then we carried on going again for UK Ultimate Physiques. And for some reason, the physique started to like kind of run away from us after Northwest. But I still think we brought a good well, we brought a different look actually. We didn't peak for it. We kept everything in, and we was a lot fuller. I mean, it was a lesson learned there. Still liked the look, the shape, etc. The posing routine I really liked. It was a brand new routine that I made. So yeah, you win some, you lose some, and it was only in Warrington anyway, and it was actually a pretty good show. It was my goal also this year was to do more than 2 shows. That's, yeah. So we go again. It's Friday. Tomorrow the plan of action is I'm going down to Reese Fit's gym to meet Rye. We're getting some content for Reject Weakness, so that should be pretty fun. So yeah, I'm just going to roll into FitX again. I'm doing FitX on Sunday in Wolverhampton. We're just rolling in, trying to get dry, because the main and last show will probably be Gas Mark 10, which is not this weekend, next weekend. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Sorry, this is actually a really long introduction video, but yeah, I thought I'd tell you a bit of the backstory so far to take you on the journey, because yeah, it's been a mad one, I'll tell you that, but it's all part of the process. I think quite a lot of people seem to forget is it's not just about like the stage. You've got to learn to enjoy the process, the whole process. Learn everything about yourself, and yeah, enjoy the ride, man. Because every time it's going to be different. You've got to love it, I think. Like, if you don't love it, then why are you doing it? Do you know what I mean? That's something that I found out straight away. I mean, I've never drank. I'll be honest with you, I am a bit of a hermit, but that's the way I like it. Like, and bodybuilding suits that for me anyway. So yeah, this has been a long video, but hopefully you got a bit of an understanding about me and so far this year's subpar competition prep for me. But like I said, we've brought the best that we could have with my situation, I believe. The leg cramping up was wild. I mean, do you know what? I forgot to actually mention. I went to the walking centre. They said that I had rhabdo, and they tried to rush me to hospital. Went to hospital. Obviously, I was completely honest with the people at hospital. Straight away, you tell them you're assisted. They just start treating you a completely different way. And they were like, yeah, it's electrolyte imbalance, X, Y, Z. And they tried to send me on my way. They said it's not rhabdo, obviously. And I was like, well, can we test it? Bearing in mind, I did get my bloods tested privately before I went, but I didn't tell them that. I just wanted that theirs, because theirs was a bit quicker. And they tested it, and they come back and went, oh no, your electrolyte balance is actually bang on. So it wasn't that, obviously. So yeah, the ones that was really elevated, that obviously shown what I was experiencing, was the CK levels. The CK levels were 9,000, lads. Jesus Christ. Like, normally, like when you're training and stuff like that, maybe like over 1,000 to 2,000, because it's like inflammation. Obviously, you're training, you're inflaming your muscles, breaking them down. It's relative. But yeah, lads, mine were 9,000, so that's how serious it was. But yeah, fingers crossed, we're all good now. We have been for a few weeks. Cardio's actually only just been put, like direct cardio, like bike and Stairmaster, has only just been put back in the last 2 weeks. I've only been able to do incline walk. Like, that's how serious it was. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up now because I'm literally just getting into work. But I hope I've not bored you to death, and I've given you a bit of an introduction on me and myself. And there'll be more videos coming out, so I'll see you in the next one.